Hi, my name is Tanya Lightborn. I'm a wife, mom, lifestyle influencer, marketing maven, and now your host. In 2020, at the start of the corona pandemic, I felt the need to create a sense of community and talk with women. Let's Chat with Tanya Lightborn was birthed out of such an uncertain time. The idea behind this movement is to create a forum for mothers who are at the top of their game, inspirational and aspirational. Women who redefine what it means to be strong. We chat about life, parenting, entrepreneurship, business, and everything else in between. Advertise with us and become a part of the conversation with over 5,000 social followers. Let's Chat with Tanya Lightborn, created for moms by a mom. Welcome to another edition of Let's Chat with Tanya Lightborn. Today's guest is Nicole Henfield. Today we are chatting about women and fitness. A little bit of a taboo topic because we don't want to talk about what's sticking out, what's not right, what looks like this, why everything looks the way it does. But we're going to talk about it today.
Let's do it.
We're gonna take the brand that you've built and just call you Miss Strength Over Fear.
I love it.
Yeah, because faith and fear cannot exist in the same space. So I feel like you've definitely overcome that.
Definitely.
When it comes to just being a woman who made a decision to get fit or to get in shape.
Definitely.
So let's dive right in because this time goes by very quickly.
Sure.
Tell me how your parents would describe you.
My dad, who unfortunately passed on last June, but I was always a daddy's girl.
Yes.
So he would describe me as a firecracker, and actually he has, and many times to my husband, as a matter of fact, but as a firecracker.
Yes.
I've always been someone to speak my mind. I'm never afraid to take a leap. I was 9 or 10, and he was teaching me how to drive his truck. But I was always, I guess, fearless.
Yeah.
In a sense. And so he would describe me as a firecracker. My mother, on the other hand, she would describe me, I guess, as, similar, but a go-getter. Again, I was always fearless, always ready to take the leap and never afraid of someone saying no to me or the door being slammed, but always fearless and ready to pursue something and something different. So yeah.
Amazing. So you are one of those people um, who resonate with the quote that if you can find a seat at the table, just build your own table.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or bring your own chair.
Or bring your own chair, pretty much.
I love it. This is going to be a good episode. This is going to be great. So, in talking about women and fitness, wait, let me backtrack because the reason that you are a mom is because you have
Two daughters.
Two daughters.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about them.
Madison is 19. She's in her third year of college at Benedict College in South Carolina. And then Mackenzie is 9. She's in fourth grade at St. John. So a bit of a gap, 10 years to be exact. But you know the feeling. But, yeah, they're my reason, right? And so they're really the reason that propels me to do pretty much everything that I set out to do. They're my reason.
Wow. Okay. And so, speaking of reasons, we're going to talk about your reason for getting into fitness. When it started, how it started, why. I feel like that's important to, because, you could see someone on social media and be like, oh, I like how so and so looks. Not realizing that it might take a little bit of work to get there.
Yeah.
So, let's talk a little bit about your journey.
Wow, about maybe I'd say 4 years ago, I started my fitness journey. I never exercised, ate what I wanted, any time of the day, as late as 12 o'clock in the night, I'm eating a snack, a crack kong from bamboo, so I had those type of habits. And then it was a Saturday afternoon. My husband was out with the girls and I was home alone, just doing what we do. And I was coming out of the shower. I have this huge mirror at the end of our hallway. that we usually like to take selfies in or admire ourselves when we're all dressed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
And I came out of the shower and I bent over for whatever reason. And Tonya, I tell you no lie, I could have easily passed for 3 months pregnant. I mean,
What?
no joke. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, what the hell? Can I say hell?
Yeah.
I
Well,
was like, what is this?
What is
Who
that?
is this woman in this mirror? And I stood up. And it's one thing to see a woman all dressed in her clothes and her jeans and things are
Everything's
tight and tucked
tucked.
in. But when
Mhm.
you're in the naked physique, you're looking at your body and I mean, it's really brutally honest. It's telling you
Yeah.
this is where the crack count has been going. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. So I got on the phone and I called my husband and I was like, did you not see me putting on all this weight? Did you not see how I've gotten so big? And he was like, yeah, I saw it, but I wasn't getting in that conversation with you from here to Jabim. He wasn't touching it, not with a 10-foot pole. And I was like, but you could have told me. He was like, no, I could not have told you that you were putting on weight. Now, mind you, Tonya, I had moved to a size 14 jeans. So I had to inherently know that I had moved from that size 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, because I had to buy the jeans. But seeing it right then and there, something clicked. And I was like, oh, absolutely no way. Am I going to continue? Because if I hadn't done anything, I may have ended up to 16 to 18. And not that that's anything wrong with that.
No.
But for me,
Mhm.
that was not the physique that I wanted to carry.
Yeah. And then at some point, did you become uncomfortable in your clothes at all?
Very much so, very much so. And I found myself when I would go out, I had to hold in my stomach. Sometimes 3, 4 hours, I used to laugh with my husband and say, listen, I can need medevac, I can need oxygen, because as much as I hold it in the stomach just to parade through the function, so it doesn't seem like, you have on girdles and all these different things, you could hardly parade. And I was like, no, 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 no. I can't sustain this. You want to go out and you want to enjoy yourself. You don't want to be so focused on tucking in and sitting at a certain direction so you don't look a certain way. You want to be focused and present in the moment as
Right.
opposed to worrying about all those other things. Exactly. So I knew
Yeah.
that I had to do something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're at this point. This would have been pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic. This would have been
Right.
about 18 to 24 months prior to COVID.
Okay.
Mhm,
Okay. So
mhm.
we're talking 2019.
Correct.
Early 2019.
Early 2019.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now you're in the mirror, 3 months pregnant, this physique, the one
It
that
ain't
you,
happening.
yeah, it
Mm-mm.
ain't cute.
That ain't it.
You don't like it no
Mm-mm.
more. Let's do something about it.
Correct.
So tell us how your journey began.
I started with a local fitness club that worked out on a park, one of the local parks. It was free of
Oh,
charge.
nice.
And so I
Okay.
started there.
Mhm.
When I looked around, there were women that looked like me. Some of us had our children on the park with us because, again, we're mothers. That's
Yeah.
our first priority. And so, in
Mhm.
order to get this hour of alone time, they got to tag along.
Yeah.
And so we started there, and so that is where I built up my endurance and my love for fitness.
Okay.
So I was with this group called HOP House of Pain for about 6 to 8 months. And
Okay.
so I got that's what I would say for introductory stage to
Okay.
women who have never exercised.
Yeah.
It helps you to cultivate that love for it, as
Mhm.
opposed to being so intimidated by just walking into a professional gym.
Right.
Right. And so that helped to bridge the gap between doing nothing
Mhm.
and actually getting started.
Okay.
So about 8 months into that journey, I realized that I still needed a little bit more vigorous, a little bit more intense training.
Right.
And then I started working out with a personal trainer at the Defense Force Base. They have a gym there that's open to the general public, and
wow.
his name was Sharif.
Carl Harper?
Coral Harper, yes, right
Okay.
on the base. Sharif, he was the Defense Force officer. And, again, I explained to him what I wanted to look like because,
Mhm.
I say to women all the time, what works for me is not going to work for Tanya. It's not going to work for you. You have to understand your body and to listen to your body and to know what you want your fitness journey to look like.
Yeah.
So I had that conversation with him and he started me on a path. And this is actually the first time I started lifting weights, doing squats and doing deadlifts, and so it opened up an entire new door of
Right.
working out. It was no longer just jumping jacks and just walking around, taking
Yeah.
a couple of laps around the field. We
Mhm.
were doing intense workout. And so that's when my love really started to propel itself. And I really started to love it.
Wow.
Mhm.
And so what things would you say you had to commit to during the process, because they always tell you to trust the process
Mm-hmm.
in life, in love, in marriage, in
Mm-hmm.
business, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So now these are uncharted waters,
Yeah.
and I think at some point we're coming closer to
To
the
the
pandemic.
pandemic,
Yeah.
correct. I think one of the biggest things I had to commit to was time and balance. First of all, I had to make time for Nicole. Like I said earlier, I was a mother of two. I'm a wife. I'm also an employee. I have a full time job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to commit to the time. I had to take the time for myself. For me, that meant 5 o'clock in the morning because that's the best time out of my husband's and I schedule that I can do Nicole without interrupting the household.
Right.
And that is important. I also have to be cognizant that I cannot interrupt, the regular flow of the household,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I had to find the time.
Yeah.
Now, with finding the time, balance is very difficult, and I'm still struggling. Years
Yeah.
later, I'm still struggling with
Yeah.
balance. Balance that I don't give too much of one thing, too much time, or too little time.
Yeah.
And I think as you go, you just kind of wing it, and you try to each day you look at what's priority and you do it that way. But balance was important. And
Yeah.
then I think finally, nutrition. So many of us seem to
That's the
think,
struggle.
yeah, we seem to think we can go in the gym 5, 6 days a week and we can just continue to eat whatever we want, drink whatever we want, and everything's going to work out. It doesn't work that way. Actually, I mean, nutrition is probably 40 to 60% of it is nutrition. You
Right.
have to be cognizant of what you put in your mouth, and you
Yeah.
have to learn your body, how your body reacts to certain foods. Not saying you can't have a slice of pizza, but back then you may have had six. Now you may need to have one or two, and
Yeah.
less frequently as you would have before. So nutrition is definitely key.
When we come back, we are going to chat with Nicole a little bit more to find out those snacks that she avoided. I think it's good to have a healthy balance, but
For
those
sure.
snacks she avoided, those things that she included in her new workout plan, we're gonna have that for you. We'll be right back. We're back from the break with my guest, Nicole Henfield, and we're talking about what she ate and what she no longer eats and or doesn't eat as much as she used to. So I used to eat 6 slices of pizza. Now you're telling me I have to cut it down?
Yes, definitely. Listen, I love Pizza Hut. I mean, I'm from Grand Bahama. I'm a Grand Bahamian, and so a large pizza on a Friday afternoon with a bear was just what it was,
With a bear,
with a bear.
not even a Coke.
Not a Coke. Well, Coke is just as
Wow.
bad.
Well,
But
right.
yeah, so my dietary habits, I sit at a desk at work, and so I would have chicken wings and fries and cap it off with a soda without breaking a sweat with typing and doing what I needed to get done.
Yeah.
So that in itself, you're sedentary, you're sitting
I was about
there,
to say
you're
that.
consuming all of these calories, and then on top of that, I probably had a patty and a Coke for breakfast. And then here I go home and I'm gonna have a bamboo or even if I cook, it's chicken wings or
Yeah.
whatever it is, you're consuming it, but not necessarily balancing your plate, right? So there's nothing wrong with having a piece of chicken or a fried chicken, but what else are you eating to balance that off? And
Yeah.
so that was something I wasn't taking into consideration initially.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can Google how much sugar is in a can of Coke soda. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of sugar that's in one can of Coke. I know some people that can drink a 6 pack in a day of Coke soda.
Wow.
So it really talks about, you really have to hone in on what do you want your body to look like.
Yeah.
Again, you've got to do the research for yourself. My
Right.
metabolic rate is not the same as it was when I was 18. If I was wearing a skin fitted dress, I just wouldn't eat lunch or dinner. I wake up the next morning belly flat, no worries, nothing to do. You don't
What?
have to even worry about it.
Wait, what?
But this was before I had my daughters,
Yes.
and now I'm heading on 43, and so
Yeah.
my metabolic rate, my body doesn't function that way anymore,
Yeah.
and so I have to be cognizant of what I put in it. So I had to cut out those sugary drinks. I had to cut out. I love potato chips. I mean, I would buy them for my girls to go to school, and I'm in bed eating potato chips. I have a very sweet tooth. I eat a lot of chocolate bars, or I used to. I would have now latest all type of stuff in my bag, just popping them, and so a lot of those things I had to eliminate from my diet in order to really see the benefits that I wanted to see, that I was working so hard for in the gym at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
But I had to balance it. And so, initially when I first started, I was like, I'm not seeing the results. Where my abs, where my cuts,
Right.
I couldn't find them. Like,
Yeah.
where were they?
Not knowing that they
But
come.
with the diet.
Yeah.
They come with, no matter how many crunches you do, and don't let the books and Google fool you doing 100 sit-ups. It comes with the
Nutrition.
diet. And
Yeah.
then I think a lot of times women seem to think, if I don't eat anything, then I'm going to lose the weight.
No.
And that's equally as bad, because the minute you do put something in your mouth, for me, my body then retains that and says, listen, I don't know when I can eat again, so I can hold on to this. So it's not doing what you think it's doing by not eating. Okay, I'm not eating anything, so the weight should drop. Actually, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So you can eat 3 balanced meals a day. You just have to balance the meal. You have to have your protein, your carbohydrates, your greens, and then again, whatever you wash it down with. I'm not saying you can't have a Coke soda, but maybe have 1 Coke soda every 3 days, or, as opposed to 2 or 3 sodas in one day.
Yeah.
Flip it around. Make 1 Coke soda every 3 days, because you still want to live and enjoy. You go out to dinner with your significant other or your girlfriends, you want to be able to enjoy the meal.
Right.
But you have to do it in moderation.
Yeah. So everything in moderation. Right?
Everything,
That's
definitely.
what they teach you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What does your, well, in retrospect, so you were a size 14.
Mm-hmm.
Once you put in place, and when we say diet, we're referring to a healthy meal plan.
Correct.
Right?
Not a diet
Not
where
I'm
starving myself.
No.
Not these. They have this thing. Yeah, not those things. No.
We're just talking about implementing like a healthy eating plan.
Correct.
And so you would have come down from a 14 to
a 4 or 6.
Yeah.
4 or 6.
And tell us about that part of it, because what's tricky is you lose all this weight. You're 14 and you don't feel like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You feel out of shape. You feel heavy. You're tucking in your
tired,
belly, right? Fatigued,
yes.
etc. And then you go down to a size 4, and it's like, I don't feel like myself. It's like an out of body experience, because you've never been, or you haven't been there before, or you haven't been there in a long time.
For me, I hadn't been there in a long time.
Mm.
The challenge with going down to a size 4, now I'm this stick woman, no real shape. I'm just a size 4. And I think for me to hear myself sitting in a size 4 jeans was the triumph, right?
Yeah.
But that was not the real story, because I mean, how realistically was I going to be able to maintain staying a size 4? Right? And so I think for me, I had to break the bondage in my mind that healthy or fit meant being a size 4. Like a stick.
Yeah.
And that's, that is so not the case. Yeah. So now, after I was successfully able to marry the nutrition and marry a workout plan that worked for my body, I became this beautiful and healthy size 6 to 8 woman. Yeah. Now, because now I'm building muscle, girl. That booty is coming in. Those legs are coming in. Those abs are cutting to the top. But I'm not a size 4. Yeah. But I had to transition my thought process to saying that is okay. Yeah. Because a lot of us think healthy means you are wearing a size skinny, and it's so not. So now I'm at a place where I'm wearing a size 8 jeans or pants. I may have to take in the waist, but I got to accommodate my booty and my legs, girlfriend, because now we looking good, sis.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that was a mindset. Even when I shifted and I was saying to my trainer, why do I feel like my pants are getting too tight? The size 4 isn't fitting. And he had to help me with that transition mentally. That listen, we're working now. We're building muscle. We're lifting weight now. And so muscle is actually growing. And sometimes I had this picture that I also referred to. There was a lady with 160 pounds of fat, and then she was 160 pounds of muscle. Wow. Same 160. Yeah. But if you saw the difference in her body, because now she is carrying muscle as opposed to fat. Yeah. And I'm not talking about the bodybuilder. I'm not talking about, the swollen female, because a lot of females tend to think if we lift weight, we're going to get cut and we're going to look more masculine. Yeah. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about turning that fat into muscle. Right. And that's really when you start living your truest and healthiest self.
Wow. Yeah. For the woman who's watching this, how does she get started? Because we always say baby steps, right? I guess the first the first stage is always you have to acknowledge, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm maybe not a size 14, but I'm a size 10,
Mm-hmm.
or a
Mm-hmm.
size 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just uncomfortable in
Right.
my clothing, and I'm buying no more clothes. So
Correct.
I can just need to fit in what's in my closet
Mm-hmm.
and just do that. How do you suggest she gets started?
Well, the first thing I would say to her, she has to do it for her.
Mm-hmm.
Many times as women, as wives, we're doing it for everybody else. Maybe our husband, maybe her husband may not be as gracious as mine. He just wasn't prepared to touch the topic,
Right.
right? So
Right.
but maybe you have someone in your ear saying to you, you don't necessarily look as good as they want you to look. Do it for yourself.
Yeah.
When you start doing anything in life for somebody else, you're never successful. You never really see it through to the end because you're not doing it for yourself.
Correct.
So I'd encourage all my women, do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's
Mm-hmm.
the first thing. And then, like you said initially, you have to acknowledge what's happening with your body. And
Yeah.
it's okay. I think sometimes we feel so guilty, but you've birthed children. You've given everything that you've got to
Yeah.
your children, to your marriage, to your job. And
Mm-hmm.
we tend to put ourselves last. And that's what happens when we put ourselves last. So it's okay that, okay, you've put on a couple of pounds, but you don't have to stay there. So we
Right.
got to first and foremost do it for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, we got to acknowledge that, okay, I put on a couple extra pounds and we
Right.
want to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I always say, as in everything, you give yourself grace. So
Yes.
it's not going to happen in, I mean, you see changes, visible
Mm-hmm.
changes in about 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not going to see the abs in
Oh
three
no.
months.
Oh no. Oh no.
That would be like crazy.
Yeah. And grace is the perfect word.
Yeah.
You have to give yourself time and you have to be patient with your body. You remember
Mm-hmm.
now, you've been feeding it not necessarily in the best way for so long. So
Right.
when you start to make these changes, the body has to adjust, the mindset has to adjust, and it will happen. But it
Mm-hmm.
will take about 4, like you said, 3 to 5 months before you even see a notable change.
Right.
And then when you see that first change,
You'll
so
be like,
oh my goodness, the
woo!
light turns on, and you're like,
Yeah.
is that me? When you pass that mirror, hey boo, I see you, and you want to keep going. And
Right.
people always say, why do you guys get so addicted to it? You get addicted to it because you see the changes in your body.
Yeah.
When you finish a 1 hour workout, that in them those
Those
endorphins, I mean, you
endorphins.
feel so
I
so
think
good.
that is the best high
Yes,
that you could get.
yes,
I mean, medicine and pills
you're
are a
right. The
thing,
best
but
natural high.
yes, the
Yes,
best natural
and
high
then
are
you feel a
definitely
sense of
endorphins.
pride
Yeah.
for yourself. Did I do that? Did I
Mm-hmm.
lift that 20
Yeah.
pound weight? You feel a sense of pride. You walk out of there now like you feel so strong and so
Mm-hmm.
accomplished, like you could take on anything. And that's why I work out early morning, because it gives you now that
It sets
sense to
the
take
tone.
on the day.
Yeah,
Yes.
it sets
Yeah.
the tone for the day.
Yeah.
I saw people. Oh, I see people online that post little snazzy remarks that say, I just want that that energy that people have who work out at 5
Mm-hmm.
a.m. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you have to be in it to kind of
Yeah.
understand,
But it's funny because you never want to get out of the bed, because
Oh
when the alarm
no,
goes off at 4:30, you never want to get up.
snooze.
You're putting on the clothes and you don't want to go. You're pulling up to the gym and you still don't want to be there. You do it, you're halfway through the routine and you're still not really there yet. But oh, when you're done, you're like,
Mhm.
I'm so glad I
And I did
came.
it.
Yes, and
And
I
I
did
did
it.
it.
Yes.
When we get back from the break, we're going to talk about strength over fear, how Nicole literally took a brand or an idea and turned it into a brand. We'll be right back.
Showman E Bistro. Good vibes, great times, sexy cocktails, multicultural cuisine, comfort food, first class service. It's the Showman Experience. Live music weekly. Enjoy incredible food with amazing smiles. Showman E Bistro, where everyone is a star.
Strength Over Fear is a fitness/apparel brand birthed during a pandemic by our guest, Nicole Henfield. So you got into fitness. We chatted initially. She was like, where did you? I remember I had on like a pink Nike sports bra and just some regular tights. And she was like, where did you get that? And I told her, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking I'm helping her because she wants to buy something or she wants to buy some, fitness gear. And little did I know she was doing her R&D, her research and development, because she was going to develop her own fitness brand. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, initially after the pandemic hit, I decided I wasn't going to waste the time. I was going to work out avidly every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing just that. But you need workout attire and
Mm-hmm.
workout attire that's functional and high
Mm-hmm.
quality.
Yeah.
Anyone can go on Amazon and get the set that costs $9.99 and one size fits all. Once you see one something says one size fits all, run away because there's no way one thing could fit every woman exact.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get some apparel.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was online. The sports center was doing fabulous things. They had the WhatsApp. You could contact them by the WhatsApp
Curbside.
curbside.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go buy some apparel because I want to be cute. I'm feeling
Yeah.
good with myself now. I
Yes.
want to look good. You look good. You feel good.
Yeah.
And I wanted to send that message across because I was recording myself and posting all the time. But I went into the sports center and a Nike bra is $69, and the Nike tights is $79 or $89. And
Okay.
if you want to get a little top to put on top of it, a Nike top is another $49. So you could spend $150 just for a bra, a trousers, and a top to go on over it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I said, listen, I'm a mother. I've got a mortgage. I've got my daughter's college tuition.
Yeah.
There's no way that I should have to spend that much money to
Mm-hmm.
feel good about myself, to
Mm-hmm.
look good,
To be
to work out,
motivated.
to be
Yeah.
motivated to work out. So I started doing research. You were a part of that process,
Mm-hmm. Little
as
did
you
I
alluded
know.
to.
Yeah.
And so I started doing research. And so I came up actually one Saturday, it was COVID. We were laying down, and my husband was, I guess, browsing through his phone, and I'd posted a ton of videos, and I was wearing a brand from a lady in Atlanta. And he said to
Wow.
me, he messaged me, it was early that morning. He was like, you're wearing this lady's brand and advertising for her. Why not develop your
Yours.
own brand?
Yeah.
And so I must give him that credit. He was the one that actually birthed that idea into my heart, into my soul, into my mind. And he was like, you have so many women following you and watching you and
Mm-hmm.
asking you questions. Why not birth your own brand as
Yeah.
opposed to wearing somebody else's? And that Saturday, we had nothing else to do. We were on lockdown.
Yeah.
I just dove into it. I dove into it, started doing
Swan
research,
dive.
material.
Yeah.
And then I started to get a study group together of all types of women, different demographics, different body types. What do you want from your workout apparel? What do you want to feel? How do you want the material to feel? What are the parts of your body that you want concealed, sucked in? What do you want from workout apparel?
Yeah.
And so we went through that process of doing that. And at the end of the day, we coined our line strength over fear because we want to encourage, really and truly, we just want to encourage all women
Yeah.
to look and feel their best. And that could be a size 14, 16, 10, 12, 4, 6, whatever your body type is. We want you to have the strength to step out and do
Mhm.
what you need to do and overcome the fear so that you
Wow.
can look and feel your best. When a woman feels good, an entire house is
Oh
blessed.
yeah.
When an
Absolutely.
entire house is blessed, an entire community can be blessed. When an
Mhm.
entire community, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And so it really truly begins and starts with us. But
Yeah.
for so many of us, we're so downtrodden. We've been beaten by life for various reasons, all type of different things. And so we tend to throw in the towel. So we wanted to be a ray of light for women, kind of, to I guess to instill in them that strength over fear.
Yeah.
And so that was the name we came up with for the brand.
Wow. And what was the response like?
Well, we launched our first collection that November in a pandemic when people were watching their coins because, we were so uncertain. I guess that's
Yeah.
the word of the pandemic, uncertainty.
Mhm.
People were so uncertain. And I was so nervous, when we've done all this back work and
Yeah.
everything's waiting, the website's waiting. You just got to press go live or press send. And I'm sitting there and
Yeah.
I'm so nervous because you work so hard on something that you
Yeah.
coin your baby. You don't want someone to receive it in a negative way or for
Mhm.
anyone. And I just had to go with it. I have to remember what my dad said, you can do anything. And I pressed send. Our first collection was sold out in about 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, our first, and we had about
Wow.
12 different sets. And so they were all sold out in the first week. We try to be very creative with what we select. We're
Yeah.
not cookie cutter because
Mhm.
women are not cookie cutter. I
No.
look completely
One
different
size
from
does
you.
not fit
It
all.
doesn't, and so your taste, your desire is going to be different. And
Mhm.
so that is what we coin our brand on. We would never bring in one set for all the women because it
Yeah.
just doesn't work that way. All
Right.
the women won't like that. And so we're very intentional about
Mhm.
how we select for our women. And so
Yeah.
it's been going exceptionally well. We
Awesome.
turned one in November gone, one. And so we're now
Wow.
getting ready to launch another collection that's coming out in
Yeah.
about 10 days. And so we're
Yeah.
doing the photos and the videos. And so we continue to churn along.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember one of the things that I guess the government of the day pushed was to shop local and to support small businesses, because actually it was a small business that pushed out like 60,000 masks, and obviously we're here, Bahama
Yes.
Handprints, and I mean, who knew?
Yep.
Who knew that they would have produced something as important as that? Because one day there was nothing happening. You just heard about the news, and then the next day, hey, I'm sure when they got the call that, hey, we need face coverings or we need masks
Yeah.
for the general public, how fast can your seamstresses sew for our, for the general public until
Correct.
we can get our footing, for different imports, etc. But I love what we did as a country, as a community, to foster something like that. So similarly, a lot of businesses were birthed out of the pandemic,
Oh, yeah.
and so one of those would have been yours for
Yeah,
sure.
for
I'm
sure.
I'm sure because you work a full-time job,
Correct.
and this is what we would term as your side hustle.
Correct.
How much harder did you work on your side hustle?
Much harder, because now I've got to give the man 8 hours. You have to render to Caesar
Yeah.
with a Caesar, and so now whatever time is left after I'm done with my children, after I'm done with my home, after I'm done with my husband, I now have to give to this business. And so that was a sacrifice and an eye opener, because sometimes when you're supposed to be sleeping, you're up, and depending on who your distributor is, they could be in Panama, China. You're up at 12 midnight talking to them because it's 12 in the day for them.
Wow.
And so it was a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of response from so many women. A lot of them thought that I was a trainer, and I'm actually not a trainer.
Yeah.
And they wanted to know, how can I get started? Where can I go? What can I do? And we wanted to make sure that our workout apparel was quality workout apparel. You don't want to give something or put your name on something that's not of the highest quality.
Right.
We wanted to make sure it was functional. So when women still did their deadlifts or their squats, it was still something that was resistant enough to withstand that.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to make sure it was affordable. So putting
Right.
those three things together was not easy. You had to make sure, you were able to accomplish all three of those things. And
Yeah.
we were very, very excited and proud and happy that we were able to do it.
Yeah. Amazing story. So, two things before we wrap up. What do you say to the woman that's struggling? She's already started. She's seen you or other influencers or just her neighbor, or a group of women working out or men working out, and so she's in that little between a rock and a hard place where it's like, oh, I'm so tired. The job, this, the kids, that. I don't have no energy. Blah blah blah. So there's that, and then we're gonna do a shameless plug.
Okay. I would say to that female to keep going.
Yeah.
To persevere. You've got to find the energy, because what happens is you tend to lose yourself in all of those things you just mentioned. You lose yourself, and then you lay in the bed at night and you're completely exhausted, and everything you did that day, none of it was for you. Not even an hour, not even 60 minutes. You did everything for everybody else, but nothing for yourself. Right. And so I would say to you, find the time, whether it's early in the morning or even 6 o'clock at night, when you've done all the homework, done the dinner. Okay, I'm gone. Here's my hour. I'm gone. Whether it's on the park with a workout group. There are a lot of local community workout groups. They're free of charge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend you go into the gym right away.
Right.
That is a very intimidating scene. You got these beautiful 18-year-olds, abs, and Nike from head to toe, and you sitting there with your little shirt from the family cookout, and you looking at them like, I am out of here. No way. Yeah. So you don't want to start there until you get to a point where you're comfortable with the machinery and you know how to use it on your own.
Right.
But there are a lot of different communities, and then there are a lot of gyms that have a community feel. Evolve in particular, they have a really good Tangi. Oh, she's so awesome. She has a really good starter gym. They call it a boutique gym for a lot of people, a lot of women that are starting. And so there's places like that exist that make you feel comfortable, that make you feel good. But get started. Don't give up on yourself. And a lot of health reasons. Do it for your children. Do it for you, and do it for your health, because a lot of things can be eliminated by simply exercising 60 minutes a day.
Right. I was going to say 30.
Yeah, but at least
30 minutes.
30 minutes will
walking.
do. 30 minutes will do.
Yeah.
But walk with a little bit of an intention, a little brisk walk, the walking and talking on the phone, but just pick up a little pace, get a little brisk, break a sweat. Once you break a sweat,
Yeah, you're good to go. So you know if you go walking with Nicole,
yeah, we ain't a slump.
Oh yeah, no. As a matter
we can
of fact,
get to work.
Yeah, why are you on the phone?
I know, exactly.
So tell us where we can find you. Tell us where we can find Strength Over Fear.
Okay, we on Instagram. 40 and Fit 242 is our community page, and that's where we highlight women of. We've highlighted you. We've highlighted women of all sorts that we feel inspire women. And so the page is really to inspire. And so 40 and Fit 242 on Instagram. You can go ahead and follow us, and that's where we launch all of our collections. And our website is www.strengthoverfair242.org. You can go ahead and check out our website. Like I said, our items sell out so quickly. So what's on the website now is no longer in inventory, but in about 10 days, we're going to have our brand new collection, our summer collection that's going to be launching. And so look out for that.
And by the time this is aired, your collection will be in store, and we're gonna just speak that into existence.
There you go.
It's gonna be sold out.
There you go, and I appreciate that for sure.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Let's Chat with Tonya Lightbourne. We'll see you next time.